Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. When you're tuned in, you're with Lady Business and Give It to the People Radio, where you're going to get enlightened, enhanced, empowered, and enriched. Make sure that you always tune in to Give It to the People Radio. Thing on. Is this thing on? It is. It says that we are live. And so I want to welcome you out this evening because you are back to Give It to the People Live, and I'm Chisa Penix Brown. And I'm so excited to have you tonight because I have a guest that is none like anybody else that we've had before, with a topic that I'm sure that you guys are really, truly interested in. And so I'm going to bring her on in just a second. But I want to give you guys a little bit about what is Give It to the People. So Give It to the People Live is our weekly show that we do, and we do it live to make sure that you can participate. So you can feel free to ask questions, you can make comments, watch along with us. This gives us the opportunity to create our community of business owners who are about their business, and we focus on small businesses, women-owned businesses, minority businesses, and nonprofits. So if you know somebody that would be a good person to come on this show, then feel free to have them go to the link in our bio, and they can go ahead and they can book, and then we'll have them on later in the year. Now, I know for a fact we're booked out to like October. November is probably getting ready to just be booked up, but we want to get booked for the rest of the year. So when we do this, we make sure that we highlight what business owners do. Now, today, I do Purusha, and she is, I'm going to let her introduce herself, but she is based in the Raleigh-Durham area, and she does something that, I mean, we think about it, but do we know how to get started? Hey, beautiful, how are you?
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
How are you, darling?
I am wonderful. So you do something that I'm saying I thought about doing, like maybe when I was way younger, but I think that you bring a perspective to the business world that everybody doesn't know about, everybody doesn't know how to get into, and I want you to just introduce yourself and give them a little of your background.
Hello, everyone. My name is Purusha Jones-Shearin. I am the pageant director and co-founder of Miss Full Figure North Carolina, Miss Full Figure South Carolina, and Miss Full Figure Virginia. I'm also the head director of the Miss Full Figure USA brand. Let's see, what else? I have been doing pageantry now for going on 7 years. Okay. I'm super excited about it. I actually fell into it by chance. I competed for Miss Full Figure USA back in 2013. I started following the CEO, Teresa Randolph, and then I said, well, what do you think about expanding the brand? And 7 years later, we have almost 10 to 15 other states under the Miss Full Figure USA brand because of the interest. Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
yes,
my
ma'am.
goodness. Okay, so hold up. I got to pause you because I forgot to introduce Tammy. So let me bring Tammy if y'all don't know Tammy.
Okay.
So this is Tammy Faye Tambourine Brown, okay? Whenever people say something that's amazing, something that we need them to check back on, we bring Tammy out. So you just told us, and I got to make it clear because sometimes I say it for the people in the back, that you competed. Then after you competed, you said, I'm interested in spreading it because I want more people to know about it. And now you're in 13 states.
Roughly about 13 states up and down the East Coast, all the way across to Nevada, California, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, and like I said, up and down the East Coast of New Jersey, New York, soon to be Connecticut, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana. We are expanding. We are all, yes, probably more than 13 to 15 states, but we're definitely trying to expand. And I'm helping, if you will, to expand the brand, of course, just by brand awareness, of course, you know, so that's where we are.
Okay. And I love that. So what made you want to do the pageant in the first place? Like, what were you just like, okay, you know what, one day, okay, I see something and now I want to compete. What made you want to even get into it?
Well, I started modeling in undergrad at St. Augustine's University. Of course, it was St. Augustine's College back then. And after I graduated in 2003, there weren't a lot of opportunities, so I thought, for plus size women to be involved in. So 10 years later, I started following, like I said, Teresa Randolph, the CEO, and I saw that she did pageants, and I was like, well, I don't have any confidence issues. I might as well just go for it. And she's in New Jersey. And unfortunately for me, I'm originally from New Jersey. So I knew having to travel back and forth or having to worry about the cost of expense and all of that wasn't going to be a thing because my mom is in New Jersey. And so I knew I was going to have somewhere to stay and all that kind of stuff. And from there, it just kind of blossomed from there, you know? And so why did I decide to do it? I decided to do it because I love who I am as an individual. I'm very confident in who I am. I didn't always have this confidence, but I just wanted to try something different, try something new outside of just modeling, outside of just, you know, prancing around on a runway. I just wanted to challenge myself to just do something bigger than myself.
I love that. So now my question next is, a lot of people want to model, but I want you to tell the people, because I don't think that they understand sometimes that it's not just looking pretty. Like if you're in a pageant, there are so many other aspects that go into being in a pageant. So can you explain to somebody who's never been in a pageant, like what all is entailed in doing that?
Well, I can first explain that the difference between the two is modeling, depending on what you're actually doing. You're actually showcasing attire for designers. You're not actually showcasing yourself. You're actually trying to sell someone's garment. As opposed, and then of course, you know, in modeling, depending on the type of modeling, you're going to be giving fierce face or you know, you're doing your model, you know, your model face and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But in pageantry, it's truly all about the smile. It's all about, did you wear the garment or did the garment wear you? It's all about, when you get down to the end of the runway, did you make eye contact with the judges? Did you smile? Did you put your best foot forward? Did you stumble down the runway or did you walk with grace and elegance? You know, and I think that's the thing that separates the two. You know, modeling is all about that fierce walk, that confidence, of course, because it's the same. But really in pageantry, it's all about elegance and grace.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Now, do people that are in your pageants have to do any other part of not just wearing the garments, but do they have a talent that they have to showcase? Is there anything extra that goes along with it?
Well, in my particular pageant, talent is optional. We have several optional categories. So talent, photogenic, swimwear, cover girl, and fashionista. Those are optional categories. A lot of pageants, a lot of new age pageants don't require talent because, unfortunately, as we know, not everybody has the talent. But I really believe that everybody can potentially do it if you put your mind to it. Like, say, for instance, talent doesn't necessarily mean that you can sing or that you can play an instrument. It could mean doing an amazing monologue. It could mean doing some type of skit or performing some type of activity, you know, maybe how to save a life in 3 minutes, you know. I mean, it could be any number of things, but, you know, is it entertaining? Are the judges going to be wowed by what you're offering? So, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so talent is optional for sure.
Can a person win without doing any of the optional categories?
Yes. In 2016, Janice Belcher-Moore, she actually did not do any optionals, and she won the first Miss Exquisite Full Figure North Carolina title in 2016, and she did not do any other optionals. So it's possible. Okay. It is possible, but I encourage my girls whenever they are, especially once they go from the state level to the national level, I encourage my girls, you know, more stage time equals more opportunities for the judges to see you shine. Yeah. You know, so it on a national level, I think it's a little bit different versus on a state level. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you. And can you afford it? You know, because it's not cheap. Like optionals, you know, optionals for our pageant system is a separate pageant fee or a separate fee to opt into those optionals. So it just really depends on, did you save your money? Do you have a talent? Do you want to display your talent? That kind of thing.
So what is let's just say if you only did one thing, right? What is the entry fee? And then on average, what would you say that people probably spend on the clothes, the hair, the nails, the makeup? So that this way, if a person is saying, look, I think I might want to do this way they can have some type of figure in their mind and they can then put it into their budget because this is going to be something you're investing in.
Of course. Each individual state, depending on locale, has their own entry fee. So it could be anywhere from $300 to $500.
Okay.
And that's just your pageant fee. That's the thing that helps businesses like ours be able to obtain the venue, pay for workshop space, pay for all the decor, the lighting, the sound, the DJ, everything that goes into the production of a pageant.
Okay.
And so once you've taken care of that part of it, then if you, what was I going to say? If you gain sponsors, it's easier. And it's more simple, obviously. And a sponsor could be an in-kind sponsor. A sponsor could be someone you say, hey, you know what? I know this boutique and I know they have fab clothes. I'm going to reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to sponsor me. And in turn, I'll place an ad in the pageant book, or I'll make sure they get X amount of social media shout outs. So, it just depends on how you choose to pitch what it is that you're doing. I've had my first year, I had a young lady, a queen, one of our queens, Shalea Cummings. She was able to raise $10,000 in sponsorship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did you need that much? Not necessarily. It depends. A lot of the times people don't realize that you have a lot of this stuff in your closet already, unless it's like your gown. But the things that we're looking for are traditional garb, like your day wear. And then your gown. Those are the two main categories within our pageant system, day wear and gown. Everything else, like I said, is optional.
Okay.
So if you don't plan to do any other optionals, you can probably go away maybe $600, $700, $800, but I've also seen it on the upside of $1,000 to $2,000 that you would end up spending. And that's more realistic, because then you think about, like you said, your hair, your nails, your shoes, your makeup artist.
Yeah, all of it.
I mean, all of it adds up. But it's like with our pageant, everything, like even your pageant fee is paid over time. We don't say, okay, hey, it's $300. We need $300 today. No, we give you, first of all, it's a 6 to 7 month process.
Okay.
And then we give you each month on a payment schedule. So you'll pay $50 here, $100 here, $50 here, $100 here, and then you're done. And then you focus on everything else. I always tell all my girls, it's easier to take care of your pageant fee first, then worry about your clothes after. Not to say that you shouldn't be looking for it, but if your pageant fee is out the way, then you can allot your monies to other areas of the pageant.
Okay. Now, when they come, do they bring, and I would have just imagined so, because I know even when I'm doing stuff, my makeup artist travels with me. So do they bring their makeup artist and whoever's going to do their hair with them, behind the scenes?
Yes. So the day of pageant, you are allowed to bring one assistant with you. A lot of the times what the girls do is go ahead and get their makeup done. Yep. And then the makeup is done for the day. And then they will, bring an assistant to help them the day of pageant, or get an assistant that knows how to do makeup as well. And then, then you kill two birds with one stone, that's more ideal. But, I know that not everybody knows how to do makeup. Everybody is not a makeup artist, at the end of the day. So, so they are allowed to bring an assistant with them.
How long is a pageant day? So you get there, and then you don't leave because you got all day. How long is a pageant day?
It can be a 12-hour day. Our pageant is broken up into 2 days because there's so much activity. Okay. Because if you were to ultimately, say for instance, I have 20 girls. Mm-hmm. 15 of those girls want to do auxiliaries, talent, swimwear, photogenic, the list goes on and on. There's no way possible we could actually put all of that in one day. Okay. Because you figure each activity is going to run you about 3 to 5 minutes max. Mm-hmm. If you have 15 girls, that's whatever the math is on that. What is that? 60 minutes roughly of activities just on one category. There's just absolutely no way. First of all, nobody wants to sit in a 6-hour pageant. They may want to come the day before and see, your talents, your swimwear, and then the next day they'll come for your day wear gown, fashionista, that kind of thing. But it can run a 12-hour day. They come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. They're not done till 9 o'clock at night when the pageant is over or whatever the activities are going on for that day.
Wow. So that's a major time investment. So basically, what I'm hearing is really 24 hours because you got 2 days. That's right. And so then now this is just me, because one of the things that we believe over here at Give It to the People is we believe in mental wealth, which means you also need that downtime. So I would imagine the day before the pageant, people are probably running around still trying to get their last minute whatevers, right? Yes. Then you have the 2 days of the pageant, and then you still need another down day afterwards after all of the excitement and the nerves and all of that have kind of settled in. So to me, if this is something I'm doing, you're talking about this is 4 days that you need to dedicate to doing this. Right. That's right. You worked for 6 or 7 months beforehand to get into that. But before you get into all of that, what are like the practices and stuff? Like how often do you practice and things before they even get to the pageant?
Well, this past year was a unique situation because of COVID. Yeah. And so we usually meet in person. When I first started the pageant, I felt the need to see them every 2 weeks. Okay. And as time has progressed, I've learned that we can still give the same amount of information once a month, as long as they're committed to spending 2 or 3 hours with us, like in this particular case, virtually. So last year to this year, we did everything once a month virtually. We did meet in person for their sash ceremony because it's important for them to be able to get their sash to say, yes, I am a contestant of the Miss Full Figure North Carolina pageant. I can parade around, I can make appearances and all of that kind of stuff. But ultimately, like I said, we did only meet once a month, but the time investment really is based on you. It's basically like, who do you want to know that you're competing? Mm-hmm. Who do you want to support you through this process? Mm-hmm. Is your platform something that you want people to be aware of? So are you going to invest the time in making sure that people are aware of who you are, why you're in a pageant, why your cause is important, and then, and then the list goes on and on. And so it really depends on the individual. Some people come into the pageant process and they just want to be a part of a sisterhood. Yay. You know what I'm saying? We're happy to have those people. Those are the ones that stay long term and want to help the pageant process the following year. Yeah. And then there's the ones that win and they do amazing and they go on to do amazing things. I will never say it's because they came through the pageant. But I gotta toot my own horn sometimes, because I feel like, maybe if they didn't do a pageant, maybe they weren't able to get that push. They needed that push to get them to where they are. But I will never take credit for someone's success.
Well, I'm going to say this though. I'm going to say, I hear what you're saying, but listen, I know for a fact, and I don't think it's necessarily a taking credit thing, but I know that I can say, because this person came to my class, they gained insight into something. That's and right. Then you can see what they did afterwards. I'm not trying to say I made them, right? Yeah. But I am saying that there are influences that happen. There are relationships that then get built. There are connections that would not have been made otherwise. And then, one of the biggest things that we pride ourselves on over here is also confidence. So if a person didn't have that confidence to go get something else, think about and I'm sure that this happens. The person that once they get that sash, oh girl, they got a sachet. So now they're out, right? They weren't out like that in the streets until they got that sash, right?
Well, facts on facts.
Take that part of the credit, because I think that that's a valuable thing. Because I remember I had a person said to me, and it was the craziest thing. They were just like, well, you out here trying to help people be confident, and people don't say, and it was the craziest, most ridiculous comment. Well, it wasn't a compliment because it was meant to be negative. And I'm just like, I don't see anything wrong with helping people be more confident. Like, right. Do you understand how many more people need to be confident? And if they were, they would make different decisions. They would move differently. They wouldn't allow certain things to happen if they were more confident. So I think that that's a big factor in a lot of people's lives, is them being able to have that foundation and then somebody else to back them up. Because I'm sure that it's somebody that comes to your pageant that they are doing it, but they don't feel as confident. Like they did it to try to gain the confidence, you know?
Right.
So toot your own horn for that, girl. Toot it. Okay. So now I just want to, because I wasn't even going to ask you this question, but you touched on it. So when you said that one young lady raised $10,000 in sponsorship, now, you know, the business side of me is like, ching, 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 ching. Like I'm thinking,
right.
So even though she didn't need that, if a person were looking at this, right, and they were, I like to call it opportunist, because I don't think opportunist is a bad thing. Like you're seeing something and then you're going after it, right?
Right.
If a person were using this as a springboard for something else, this could become a good business hustle in a lot of ways, right? Like, I mean, okay, all right. I just wanted to see your views on that, because I'm thinking, like, come on.
Well, you know, the thing that I have to make sure to reiterate is that, or share, is that, you know, even though it was $10,000, it wasn't $10,000 in cash.
Okay.
It was $10,000 in products. It was services. It was, you know, a makeup artist here. You know, we went to the Southern Women's Show, and she was able to connect with some of the vendors, some of the makeup vendors there. You know, so you know, it was just different services, or like I said, a barters of sort. But yes, I do see your point. It could be, interestingly, a hustle, but it also, I mean, but you're going to pay for it.
But you're going to pay for
the time. You're going to pay for being a part of this pageant service, you know, this pageant system. Now, what I do put, what I do put in my pageant contract is that 5 years. 5 years, you have to wait 5 years before you can even attempt to start another pageant. That is just, you know, so that people don't take advantage of what they've learned through me to make their own. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is, like, listen, girl, you came to my pageant, but you just can't go and just start your own pageant.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay. But what I'm thinking from a business perspective, because, you know, I always try to see, like, where's the money, right?
Right.
If a person were, let's just say here in North Carolina, and they do your pageant, whether they win or not, right? They still had to do everything, go through everything, raise the money. If they decided then that they wanted to do Virginia, could they go into the Virginia pageant?
No, because I already have the Virginia pageant.
Oh, so they can't do one of the ones that you have.
Oh, you mean, like, say, for instance, they wanted to start their own division?
No, if they want to be in the other pageant in Virginia.
Oh, no, they have to be residents of that particular state. Now, if they live in Virginia, you know, if they moved to Virginia and they wanted to compete in Miss Full Figure Virginia, they could. But you cannot compete in
another state
if you live in North Carolina.
But they could go to the nationals and be from anywhere.
No, that it used to be like that, but the only way you can go to nationals now is you have to compete on the state level. So you have to compete in either North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, DMV, Louisiana. You have to compete in one of the local or on the state level first.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I'm saying.
from the state level, you go to the national level. But
and that's
the winner of that particular crown to be able to go to nationals. You can't have been first runner up and compete in nationals, or
so you can't go to nationals unless you win the state.
That's right.
Okay. And see, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was like, well, could you compete and then you can go to nationals and but you have to be the winner.
Yes.
Then you can go to nationals. Okay. All right. Well, then that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right.
Now, what about, and I mean, I know this is probably, it doesn't necessarily blur the lines, but if they won your pageant and then they went to do a whole nother pageant, because it wasn't necessarily full figured. Like, because I know there are other pageants out here that they compete in, like Miss North Carolina and stuff like that. Right. If they did that, then they could still kind of monetize and raise sponsorship for all of those different types of pageants. It just wouldn't be one of yours.
Right. And that, and that's fine. I mean, if you feel like I had a young lady that competed for me in 2018. And she said to me, she went on to do another pageant, and she said, Miss Purusha, I did everything you taught me to do, and it's a proud moment for me. And she ended up winning in that pageant. So,
Excellent.
I love those stories because I'm never, like I said, I mean, yes, too, but at the same time, I want to see women win. I want to see women take what we teach them and expound on it, because if this wasn't the opportunity for you, maybe the next opportunity will be for you. I'm a firm believer that, there's more than enough out here for everyone. There's plus size women everywhere.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
There's a plethora of plus size women. There's a plethora of pageants that don't have have that stipulation of being plus size, that you can go ahead and compete.
Exactly.
So I like to see stories like that. It makes me feel like, that something that we've done is helping someone else.
Definitely. Now, do you individually train people for pageants that are not even going to be in your pageant? So let's just say somebody's like, listen, girl, I'm not plus size, I'm a 2, but I would love for you to train me. Do you do any training of people too?
I would love to do that. However, Miss Full Figure North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, when I actually get back to those other states, it's a 6-month process. So 6 months out of the year, I'm prepping for my pageant, and then I go on into another pageant, and then I go on into another pageant. I'm not going to say I don't have time. Like, say, for instance, now that my pageant was, is completed, it was completed in May. I had time, but for me, I have to take time to recruit.
Come on, right. Mental wealth, girl. Yes.
Listen. When that whole, speaking of mental health, but when that whole COVID thing happened, I completely shut down. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It was a lot for me because it was like me going from, I did not know how to pivot at that particular time. I didn't understand what that actually meant because I was so in control of everything going on in my life, and I needed that time to really take the time to understand what was really going on in the world and within my head, yes, I'm a strong believer in mental wealth, mental health, because it is super important. It really is. And so with that being said, going back to what you're referring to, I need time for me because I spent so much time into these pageants. So much so that, I mean, my girls, once they won in May, when I tell you they hit the ground running, they hit the ground running. So May, June, July, they were just going. And I was right there with them. And when August came around and they didn't really have many activities to do, I was like, oh, I thank you, Lord, because I was tired. I'm tired of running around, but I love to see their excitement. So I'm going to keep pushing them and, keep supporting them and keep sharing their events and so forth and so on. But you need that time for sure.
Okay. Now, one thing that I want you to let people know too, because, we had some emails and stuff go back and forth. What I have here is that the ages are between 19 and 60, right?
That's actually, traditionally the pageant is, the pageant is for ages 18 to 60. as I'm growing Miss Full Figure North Carolina, I see a plethora of opportunities.
Mhm.
So I have since started my own teen pageant, and my hope is eventually, as we continue to progress, that I will reach out to women over 60. And it would just be a totally it would just be a totally different avenue for them. You know, where they won't necessarily go on to the national level, but they'll stay here in North Carolina and do their reign and represent and all that kind of stuff, and look fabulous and you know, fabulous doing it, if you will. And that's going to be my Miss Elite category for 61 and over. But yes, traditionally, our pageant is from 18 to 60.
And let me tell you something. I truly think that that's a very underserved market. Mm-hmm. And when I'm telling you, I've told people, if anybody has watched this, if you come on a regular basis, good grandmas are my favorite demographic. Yes. And they have the money and they don't play games and they come out and they do what they're supposed to do. Like it's just, you don't have to worry about them because they already been through it and they don't mind the money. So yes, do that. And I mean, I'm not in that demographic at all, but I would just love to see that, because I think that what happens is, and you know, even this in the modeling world, I mean, if you get to 30 in the modeling world, you're super old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let alone you get to 61 plus, nobody's really trying to book you. And this is when you have like the Helen Mirrens of the world and they, you know, they get a commercial, or the Christy Brinkley's, and it's just like, y'all are still beautiful, but nobody's paying attention in the same way. Now, I think honestly, it might be, to me, different with Black women, because I love a good Iman, a good Naomi Campbell. You know, we still want to see Tyra Banks, all of the forehead, all of it. We still want to see it, right? But once you get past a certain age, there's just not as much out there for you. And I think that that would be a really, really great demographic for you to get. Now, you said the teen one. So is there going to be one that's younger than 18 too?
Yes. Well, I started a whole, it's interesting. As I've been doing pageantry, after my second year of doing pageantry, which was back in 2016, I was like, I wonder if I should tap into that teen market. But we didn't necessarily have a division for teens within the Miss Full Figure USA pageant. Okay. And my biggest concern was, Lord, now I got to deal with the parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was just different concerns as far as that's concerned. And so while we had our downtime during COVID, or, you know, COVID season 2020, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? It's time. But it wasn't just me saying that. God been telling me this for years. Okay.
Come on, God.
And so one day I woke up, I was like, okay, I'm ready to do my teen division, but it won't be affiliated with Miss Full Figure. It'll be my own. Because nobody else was doing it. And not to say that, you know, I had to have somebody else to do it, because I have all the tools within me to do it.
Of course.
You know, a lot of the stuff that even that I've gone through with Miss Full Figure USA, I've taught myself. So I'm utilizing those tools that I taught myself, and I utilized those tools that I taught myself, and created the teen pageant, Miss NC World Teen Pageant, and that's for ages 13 to 18. Okay. So, and then then we have it broken down into categories. I don't know if I want to do that again next year, but we have it broken down to Miss NC World Teen, Miss NC World Teen, and then Miss NC World Teen Plus for the plus size girl. Okay. So, and I look at it from a perspective of giving everybody an opportunity, not to say that we have to separate the teens, because they're already dealing with a lot of stuff being teenagers. It was just something that, you know, I felt like it needed to happen, that plus size teens need to be as recognized as regular teens as well. You know,
well, yeah, and I think, you know, just the idea and the concept of pageants, typically it usually is, well, let's be honest, you are still pitting yourself against somebody. You know what I mean? That's right. So if you feel a certain way, and we don't know how people feel, but, you know, it's some plus size teenagers that'll feel wonderful and happy and just be fluffy. And then it's some that'll feel like, oh, well, this girl is way smaller than me. And so I'm not in the same category. And I think that it's good that you're still going to do that, but still separate them out and allow that to be able to happen, because there are, way more probably plus size teens now than there probably ever have been.
Right.
And I mean, it's all kinds of reasons for that. But one thing that I'm interested in, because I know I sent you a question.
Yes.
And I know one of the things that I wanted to ask, because I personally think that it is super important when we talk to people, when I have this platform to be able to showcase people, that we showcase the well-roundedness of the people. And I think that things like religion, I think that things like gender, I think things, all of that, to me, is important for people to know who's behind things.
That's
and
right.
So she sent me this. She was like, well, what are you going to ask me about the LGBT? So you are a member of the LGBTQ plus A, all of the letters, right?
I am.
And to me, I just wanted to ask you, have you had any experiences that have been really favorable or really negative? Because people, when you tell them who you are, what you are, sometimes that's one of those things where they're like, I'm not sure if I want to be a part of this. Or they're like, I really want to be a part of this because I want to support you. So if you can, do you have any bads, any goods, or anything like that you could just kind of share with that? Because I feel like it's important for people to know that you are supporting a person, you are supporting this cause when you support this business. So what are your thoughts on that?
I remember when I first started the pageant back in 2015, I had a young lady that I was working with. I'll refrain from, sharing the organization. But she said to me, well, what do people think about you being gay, and running a pageant? And I thought to myself, what does my sexuality have to do with anything?
Yeah.
If I'm doing the job that I have been designed to do, if people really recognize and see, first of all, I'm a feminine woman. I'm not going to check it for you, I
wasn't checking for you, but you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes, because now you got to do all identification.
That's
I am a heterosexual woman, which I guess, what am I, cis? Is that what that would be?
Cisgender.
Okay. I'm cis and cis, okay?
Right.
So cis over here, I think that sometimes some cis women feel like you're checking for them, and it's just like, you're not even my type, boo. So, I mean, and I know it happens with men too, but it's just kind of like, what made you think I was thinking about you in that kind of way? Okay, go ahead. Go with your story.
I think people are afraid of what they don't understand. That's evident, and I have been blessed, actually. If there's someone that decided they didn't want to do the pageant because of my sexuality, I'm none the wiser. Because each year we produce pageants, and we've had women in the life, as we call it, that have been gay, and they not checking. Most of the time, I don't even know. They never wear it on their sleeve. You know what I'm saying? Unless their partner comes around and like, oh, this is my partner. Some people don't carry all of that on their sleeve. Like, even with me, when you asked me, I was like, oh Lord, I know it's out there, but what am I supposed to say?
But that's why I asked. I do want you to know that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked, because to me, so like when I put your picture out there, let me tell you what happened. Indulge Catering, who are my clients, right?
Yes.
They was like, that's my sister.
Yes.
Right? And so you don't know people know each other. Like, you just know you're here, right? So, in that, I already knew, but I knew because of how you post and what you post and seeing yourself over the years.
Right.
If I did not know you from posting, I wouldn't have known anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of the things where, because I saw you put it out, I feel like we want to tell people that this makes people understand. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just important for people to embrace people in general.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But I think the reality of the situation is, when I lead with my business, I'm leading with pageantry, I'm leading with sisterhood, I'm leading with the opportunities that can potentially come about, from being a part of this pageant. I don't lead with, oh, I'm a gay woman and I can give you all these opportunities. No, I'm a woman that's been in the industry for several years.
Come on.
And if you're lucky, if you feel compelled to want to be a part of this pageant process, we invite you, we embrace you with open arms.
Yeah.
My assistant director is my partner, my wife, actually, Jones-Shearin. And she's been with me since the beginning, the conception of this whole thing.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yes. And and the girls love her. I think they tend to love her more than me, because she's probably a little bit less rigid than me. I'm the stern one in the group because I say what I mean what I say, and
come on,
that's that on that, But she supports me, and we've been doing this thing and have not had any issues. I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was talking to one of my girlfriends yesterday, and she said to me, she said, well, I've heard through the years people feel like this is a gay pageant. I'm confused. I'm confused and confuddled. Why would anybody feel like that? I mean, I would say 90% of the women that come through our pageant aren't gay.
Okay.
Now, have we had some? Sure, we definitely have. I see you, Dr.
Come on, Sheila.
Now, we've had some, but I mean, that doesn't change who we are as an organization. That doesn't change my teaching style. That my sexuality doesn't define the importance of why we are doing pageantry.
Exactly.
So I was actually shocked that she said that to me, because I was like, I've never gotten that vibe before. And if anyone has ever felt that way, of course, obviously, I've never heard it. Because women still continue to come through our pageant system, knowing that, first of all, I'm not checking for you, nor is my wife. We good at married. We got married 18, so our anniversary is coming up, baby.
Okay.
But we do what we do out of love of growing the plus size woman. And that's the biggest picture of it all. It's not to say, oh, we're gay women and we want to be influential on cisgender women. That sounds silly. It's because we love what we do, and our sexuality has nothing to do with it.
There you go.
So
I have two things on that. I think, and mind you, I don't know your friend, I don't know the whole situation,
right,
but I think that sometimes, and so the next question I'm asking you is going to make sense.
Okay.
We want to identify with something that we feel like is ours.
Of course.
So if people that were in the LGBT community felt like, because you're in the community, this is something for us, that could be it. And then that could be something that they've said that you don't even know about. The other thing I would say is Black women. So I would assume, and I don't know, but you tell me, that most of the women that probably come to the pageant, regardless of the fact that it's plus size, are probably Black women, but that's because you're a Black woman, right?
That's right.
But it is open to everybody.
It is. Okay. It is. That is one of the most frustrating parts of this process. We have been, fortunate enough to have, women of other ethnic descents to be a part of our pageant. But I think the thing that is frustrating to me is because when I started this pageant process, first of all, I'm from Jersey. Okay. Being from Jersey, I was exposed to a lot of different ethnicities, backgrounds, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And so when I decided to do this pageant here in North Carolina, I didn't even think to myself, oh, I'm a Black woman, I'm only going to get Black women. I was hopeful that when they saw a full-figured pageant, that it didn't matter if I was a Black woman or not, that they would still come out. But that hasn't always been the case. I mean, over 2018, 2017, I did have two white women, a white woman in 17, a white woman in 18, who actually in 18 actually ended up winning. And she was Miss Full Figure North Carolina Plus 2018. Okay. And so I embrace that with open arms because first of all, I'm multi-racial. I'm Trinidadian. I am, my great grandfather was French. My family's from India, so my grandmother is Egyptian, so like I'm multiracial, like, and I grew up in a household where, growing up in Jersey, you're exposed to all different types of people. Everything. It's a melting pot of people. And so I was hopeful that, and I think it really comes down to how I market. And because I don't have a marketing person, if you will.
What's your eyelash doing, girl?
Let's have a chat after this. Okay.
Because I can't wink. That's one of my... I cannot wink, and I don't whistle well. So I'm one of people that just have to like, because I have to blink. My wink does not work at all. That's not my gift in life. I don't have it.
Oh my goodness. But that there's certain things that have worked against me as it relates to growing this pageant, and then not being exclusive, but trying to be inclusive as much as possible. And so that's, that, like you said, being a Black woman, yes, I do get a majority of Black women. I also, by chance, each year, I think 2019 was the first year I didn't have any gay girls, or lesbian girls or bisexual girls. But that didn't stop me running a great production, putting on a good show. So, yeah.
Now, I'm going to be honest, because every episode I do like a prophecy for everybody. So I prophesy on people's lives. I feel like since you already got all of this going on, you should do one just for the LGBT community. Like, honestly, I really do. And, I could see all different kinds of categories. I could definitely see a slightly more femme side, a slightly more butch side. I could see a androgynous, we don't know what's going on side. Like, I could see, because some people it's just like in between. We like
in between, right? That's right.
So I could see that being something, and I'm just gonna be honest, personally, I could see that being bigger than all the pageants. I really could, and I'm just telling you what I see as that. Now, hold up, let me tell you what else I see, because I don't know this, so I have to ask you the question. Have you, because you said you didn't have necessarily the time to try to train other people, I could also see you doing something where you record some of the stuff and you teach people, but it's something where it's an online platform to be able to do that, because you don't have to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you need is to record it. I could see you doing something curriculum based like that. I could also see something where if a person did want to start a pageant and they weren't, in their 5-year violet, you could put it together and show them how to do it. And it could be something, I just see that you have so much other things that could definitely be a part of this brand that you're doing, because I just see that you have the charisma, you know what I'm saying? You have the attitude for it. You have the wherewithal and the experience that goes along with it. So I'm just telling you, that's what I see. Now, I don't know if you had any of those plans, but that's what I'm seeing right now, because this is what God's given me to tell you.
Come on, Tammy. I receive it. I receive it, honey. Tammy is going to town over there. But listen, the only reason why I have not touched the LGBT market is because there's already plenty of LGBT pageants out there. Yes. There's a whole market for it. It's a whole market for it. So I'm not saying that I could not entertain it, but and I definitely receive what you're saying. I think that's great. When it comes to titles, if you will, or identifying words, I guess, if you will. Even though I'm in the LGBTQ community, I am married to a woman, I really don't classify myself. Like, I don't really title myself.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
So like, when people say, "Oh, you're gay," I'm like, "I'm Purusha." You know what I'm saying? Like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to put a title on me, I'm still Purusha.
Yeah.
And so I think, and it's not that I'm definitely not closeted. Everybody knows who Miss Marsha is. I don't know. I've just never. So I think 97, so I've been out for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But I just don't put myself in that boxed category.
But I think what you're saying, and for me to just kind of simplify it, is you are you do what you do,
right?
And it doesn't necessarily need to have a title, but people put titles on things.
Yes.
And you know what's crazy? So I'm listening to, I forgot who it was the other day, and she was saying, and I don't know, people may take offense to it, some people may not, it's whatever, but I do agree with it. The more titles that we put on things, the more it seems to try to separate stuff.
Definitely.
And if our goal was to be as inclusive and to be as accepted, every time we keep labeling something, it marginalizes the bigger cause of
right.
it. And I was just like, I listened and I was like, you know what? I kind of think that that's true, because I'm like, I'm going to be honest, and I've said this before, I'm not really here for the pronouns. That's just me. Because I'm like, look, I told my husband, we just want to identify as us. Like, that's what we're going to do from now on.
Us and them. I mean, I don't know.
So I'm like, and I can understand it, but I just feel like, doesn't it, what you said makes more sense to me. How do you want to be identified? As my name. Like, that to me makes more sense,
right.
But why can't we just call you your name? Like, we don't have to say she, him, her. We can just call you whatever your name is. And if you want to make up a name, we'll call you your name. That's my personal opinion on things. Right. But I think that to me, it makes sense. You're you and you do what you do, and people can follow it and they know what it is. And that makes sense. So I want to ask you one more question. I feel like one of the things that you touched on specifically was opportunity. And that's an important factor for me in everything in business. And when I tell people do their SWOT analysis, I tell them there should always be more opportunities than anything else. So can you elaborate on, if a person gets into a pageant, aside from them feeling this personal confidence, what are some of the opportunities that some of your people have gone on to do? And I'm not saying because of, but they've gone on to do them because of you being able to provide this platform, and then them taking the platform and expanding on what what they got from it. So what are some of those opportunities some of your people have been able to just engage in?
It's okay. So a lot of the times what we focus on when we do our pageant workshops is speech and presentation. And so we will, make sure that you can speak well.
Yes.
That, when you're presenting yourself to people, that you know how to network, how to approach someone, that what it means to be able to write a formal letter and create, and to reach out to sponsors and so forth and so on. But that also, like you said, it helps to build your confidence. It helps to build your confidence, and it helps you to see that you can do anything that you really want to do, So, I can never say I will never, and I know what you're saying.
However, I know what you're trying. You be politically correct.
That, like say for instance, I had a young lady, she has a degree in marketing, so that, I think that was the thing that kind of helped her get to where she is, and then I think that it's hard to say. I never want to name call, but I mean, I had women that have gone on to do ads with Lane Bryant, Ashley Stewart.
But see, there we go.
Full Figure Fashion Week. The opportunities, like it's truly endless, and I think it was just that push. Again, I don't know if it was something that was already within them, but and then maybe we just gave them that extra push. But I feel like once you come into into our pageant, it's like, okay, what else can I do? I feel like I get that feeling.
And that's so good, right?
I've done a pageant. What else can I do? And so they go on and seek out these opportunities and say, I have all those tools that were either taught to me or maybe I already knew. I just need that extra push, and I don't went on to, and I'm going to go on to do other things.
Yeah.
You know? So we've been, people started their own swim line, and my current queen, she'll probably tell you, while I was thinking about doing the Curvy Honeybees, the name of the organization is Curvy Honeybees, and I was thinking about doing that, but once I did the pageant, I really saw the opportunity and my platform. I based my platform on building up teens, and now she has this amazing platform on empowering teens ages 13 to 18. Now, is it because of the pageant? I don't know. I mean, she could have had this whole idea prior to, but I'm sure that push, helping to establish that platform, helped her to really seek out further opportunities. Now she's doing everything bees, honeybees. People are sending her bee cups, bee pins, bee earrings.
That's awesome, though.
That's just an opportunity that that was the thing that helped her to establish her platform. So I mean, I'll never say that it's because of. I think that sometimes, like I said in the beginning, sometimes you just need that push.
Yes.
And, I'm thankful that I can say that these women have come through our pageant and learned, if you will, or learned as much as they could to get to the next level.
Okay. So now I love it. And that's why I said they went through, but they had to take the opportunity. So it's not saying that you made them do anything, but it's plenty of people that have come to the pageant and probably didn't do anything after it. The ones that then said, I see the next thing, I want to do the next thing. It is a self-motivating thing that allows them to then keep on going and building from, what their foundation is. So now tell people what you have coming up and then tell them where they can find you online.
Well, I am about to go into my 7th year. We would have been our 8th year, but of course we had to take a break because of COVID and all of that. But we are going into year 7, so the year of completion. I'm super excited about that. It's very meaningful to me. We will start auditions. Well, we're actually having a executive meeting, I guess, if you will, to discuss the plans for the next auditions, which should be coming up in October. So we're going to be talking about that, and then we'll start the pageant process late October, November, and we'll be gearing up for year 2022 for pageant season for North Carolina. I'm giving Virginia and South Carolina a little break so I can get my bearings again, because I was able to successfully do 2 pageants in one. So I was able to do Miss Full Figure North Carolina and Virginia in one this past year. So I may do that again, but we'll definitely be talking about that on our next meeting. And let's see, what else do we have coming up? We're going to have a lot of things coming up. We currently have a clothes drive. One of our queens, she has a clothes drive coming up for Dress for Success. We're going to be doing a bowling night. We're going to be, it'll all be posted on the Miss Full Figure North Carolina page. And I'm actually headed to DC to the DMV pageant this weekend to support my sister queen, Laureen Coleman Ross, who just popped on here, I think just a second ago. She's celebrating her 5th anniversary this year. And what else? And then we'll be doing Christmas drive, holiday drive, food drive and all of that kind of stuff. Nothing is written in stone because, of course, we have these weekly meetings, like weekly to every bi-weekly meetings, and we're just dealing with each thing as they come about and so forth. But auditions are coming up. All these amazing activities are coming up. Of course, you can find us right here on Facebook. Not Facebook, on Instagram. We're on Instagram, Miss Full Figure North Carolina Pageant. Pageant, also Miss Full Figure North Carolina Pageant.com, Miss Full Figure North Carolina Pageant at gmail.com. Of course, my social media is Miss Full Figure North Carolina Pageant, and then of course Purusha Jones on Instagram. What else? I don't have anything else. I don't think.
That's enough.
Twitter and all of that. It's a lot.
That's good. Look, it's all I got to do. So listen, for everybody, if you're watching this on the replay, please go ahead and share it. When we finish the video tonight, what we do is we immediately share it into our Instagram stories. In addition to that, we save it for a little bit later and we post it on our YouTube page. So I can tell you now, based on I know what our schedule is, this will probably come out maybe either the last week in August or the first week in September on YouTube, because we always want people to get more opportunities to be able to listen, to be able to hear. And we like to kind of stagger it out too. Somebody couldn't watch it on live tonight. Somebody did watch it on live. Somebody's going to watch it right here in our IGTV. Somebody's going to see it somewhere else. And then we also take it and we share it on our Give It to the People on the podcast. So everything that we do gets more opportunity for people to be able to hear it and to spread the word with all of the businesses that come on. So you don't have to worry about not hearing it, not seeing it, because you will. And so personally, I would love to just thank you so much for coming on tonight, just to share your story with us, to really give us some insight into the pageant world. And now people know that they need to get it together if they want to be in this pageant. They have until October. And then you'll be putting out some things. So pay attention to her pages, follow, and definitely just, make sure that you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people.
That's right. Let me tell you, and everybody that's here, let me tell you, I have been following this woman, Chisa, for a very, very, very long time. When I got the email, when I tell you this woman is dope in real life, like, I know that if you're following her, like, you already know that, but I've had an opportunity to meet her, I think once or twice. And I am truly, truly honored to have an opportunity to chat with you and have this interview with you. If, like she said, she has other opportunities, if you know anybody else that, has amazing things going on in their lives, please contact her, of course. But I thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. You just don't know how happy my heart is, because I've been following you and I think that you're absolutely phenomenal. And I'm truly honored. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that, just like I appreciate you. So everybody, we're going to let Tammy tell y'all good night. And like I said, as soon as we finish, this is going to go up. You'll see it on the Instagram. We'll put it in the Insta stories. And then Purusha, for you'll get an email with all of the goodies. So I'll send you all of that stuff. Okay? So everybody else, look at that. She's amazing in real life. Oh, I got to say one thing. So Nika, she put down on here, which I love it. It was a couple of minutes ago, but she's put down that her pronoun will forever be Empress. Come on, Empress. So I just had to say that in case somebody didn't see it. So I feel like Empress, Goddess, like you can just address me as Goddess. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we may need to add those into the pronoun situation.
Of course.
All right. Well, stay beautiful, stay black, stay blessed. All right. Stay plus size.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing evening. All right. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to Give It to the People Radio. Make sure that you follow us online at ladybusiness.com, LADYBIZNESS. We look forward to helping you grow, sustain, and maintain your business.